Hey, friends and family, Dr. Leslie back for a nightly recap. And yes, I am drinking whiskey tonight. And the cup says tipsy. I'm just going to have one, but I had to take the edge off because today was really fucking stressful with my own legal cases. When we get to the point of deposition and deposition preparation and then actual trial, and then I have like 4 or 5 going off at once, it gets really stressful. And I am like a post-it note queen. I have to like just organize and structure. I'm like a vision board queen too. I have a 6 foot tall whiteboard in my office, and I use one side, for therapy with clients, the cognitive behavioral cycle. We need to do all that. But the other side is like what I'm doing and my future and what I want to work out and my hopes and my goals. And everything I put on that comes true. And it's not because it's magic. I'm open to some magic, but it's because when I put it on there, I just feel like I commit to it and I look at it and I think about it more and I put it out into the world and the world gives back. So, really great, awesome things are happening, but also they're really hard. And it is like carrying multiple dissertations at once, which I've done and I never wanted to do again. But here we have it. But you know what? It pays well and I get to fight for people and find justice. So, in more important news, Juicy Couture is making a comeback, and I just wanted you all to be aware. I did look at the velour pants in long, and they have a 40-inch inseam. And so it's kind of like, the 90s when we wore those massive heels. So I didn't order them, but I did order velour Adidas track pants. I'm in heaven. And then I got this soft stream hoodie from Lululemon. And I know people have issues with texture. That's another kind of phobia. But this, like, this is dreamy. It is so fucking soft. If you get a dot of anything on it, even water, it's fucked and ruined. So just so you know. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe just keep the tag on all the time. But, anyways, I thought that was really, really fucking important. And I had to share that with you guys. I had a wonderful talk with my bestie, Katie, today. And we talked about some really serious things. We covered a lot of areas. We talked about healthcare in America and how I don't think we should have healthcare. Like, we shouldn't have the way England has it or Mexico has it because after I lived in England for 6 years or plus, what I realized was that the really, really good doctors, they left the healthcare service and they went and privatized anyways. So then you end up giving healthcare to everyone, but it's subpar. And then I noticed a lot of people wouldn't work or anything and they were demotivated because they were de-incentivized because it was given to them. I kind of like, I'm not left and I'm not right, guys, but the healthcare stuff is questionable. I think there are so many people, especially on food stamps, who could actually work and make money. Now, there are people who choose to be on food stamps because they don't want to work. There are other people who actually fucking need them. And like my friend who just got through 1 year of cancer that I helped fund, and now she can't afford food. She went to get food. She took a bus. Okay. She went through a year of cancer treatment. She has had surgery, slit up and down. She's not in a good place. She takes a bus to a food bank to see what they have, and all they have are expired waxed beans. Yeah. So she's eating ramen. Luckily, because I have somewhat of a social media following, I got Kroger to donate some gift cards to her. But this is ridiculous. We need a better way to vet these systems. We need to roll these systems out, not as mass systems. We need a way to individualize the people who are actually in need versus the people who are taking advantage. And I think that is the core fucking problem in America, is that we don't take the time to actually figure that shit out. Just like guns. I believe in red flag laws. I think we need to check people. I don't think you should be able to get your CCW in California by just checking a box that you haven't been hospitalized. You can lie. Yeah, people lie all the time. I don't agree with that. I think we need to be able to see if somebody was hospitalized. We need to see somebody's criminal record. And I think somebody selling a gun needs to have the capacity to see that. I also don't think we need massive weapons of mass destruction, but I do think that everyone should be able to arm themselves if they want to. So I'm really a mixed bag. Katie and I had this conversation today. She's in Tennessee. She was very liberal. Now she's Republican. I'm just kind of in the middle and a bit lost. We did talk about the White House demolition and the $300,000, I think it is, costing, or millions, I don't know, to be doing this. Well, people are literally lining the streets trying to get food from these food banks. It is so distasteful and it is so obviously horrifying that I'm wondering if it's on purpose. And I'm not quite clear on the chaos. Like, is Trump using accelerationism theory in his own way in order to cause chaos that he can then cure and he would then remain in office? What is happening? Is it stupidity or is it actually planned chaos? Because again, working for the government for so long, consulting with the three-letter agencies, knowing people very high up, working with leaders, being an expert for people that will never be named ever, for the lawyers of the people who will never be named. Sometimes I find them all to be just like really low IQ, simple, and lacking insight. And then other times I find them to be extremely strategic. And I'm still trying to figure out what is going on with Trump. I'm also trying to figure out what's going on with Israel. I've never heard Israel mentioned so much in my life. I'm not entirely sure what's going on there. Why is it so important now? Why is it being talked about now? Why is Trump so devoted to it? Why is he so devoted to Putin? Why are other countries making fun of us? What's the end game? What's the fucking end game in this? I would like to know. I left a comment on a Brute article about Caroline Levitt calling someone stupid, I think, or it was a stupid question she had said. I think it was a microaggression because it was an African American reporter. So I think she's also racist. But 10,000 people liked my comment. And my comment, it was very simple. Does she not know this is not her forever job? Like 10,000 people have liked that comment. 10,000 people who I don't know started following me and hate Caroline Levitt. I hate her too. She's 27 years old and she thinks she is 50 and really, really aware when, God, I feel like she's going to be embarrassed. I feel like her children will be embarrassed of her because what happens after this? What's she going to do after that? I can't see her even working for Fox News because they're even like not even supporting Trump. But back to the food stamps, I would assume like so many MAGA people are on food stamps, especially because they live in these Republican and these very conservative rural areas and they don't work and they just go online and they just type hate comments to like liberal people. So yeah, I think like the food stamp thing is bad for Trump in the way that even his like MAGA people, the ones we see in interviews who don't really think straight, and they don't really know how to like compile sentences. I think that maybe they might turn against him. So I mean, that would be cool because then maybe we could end the fucking daily chaos. It's October. It has been 10 months of Blake Lively, Justin Baldoni, and Trump. And boy, I've had a fucking enough. Oh my God. Yeah, so back to Israel. We were talking today about how we don't know if we're in a conspiracy theory or if we're in reality. Is Israel a conspiracy theory or is that reality? Are the Epstein files partly a conspiracy theory? The conspiracy part would be that the government's shut down because they don't want to release the Epstein files. But then there's also a reality to that because they won't sign in the Arizona congresswoman or the Arizona representative who would then release the Epstein information. But then there's also 1,000 or more FBI agents who redacted all of that information. And I know a lot of FBI agents and they talk a lot of shit and they don't hold a lot of secrets. So I'm wondering what is up and I'm going to continue to dig. I really love that Virginia's book came out. I love that the prince is being called out. Well, we're not even going to call him that anymore. The pedo in England is being called out more. And I think we are going to see slowly, steadily, more and more people have their fall from grace. But it's not going to be just one dramatic big boom. Here are all the names. Katie and I talked about abortion today. I fully support abortion. She's questionable about it, but maybe also because she's pregnant. But I think a woman has a right to choose. I am very pro choice regardless. But I also, not regardless, I don't think that it should be abused. And it shouldn't be because you're 8 months pregnant and you're freaking out because you made a decision that you don't want to keep. Again, it's individualistic, and we lose that in America. We try to clump together people. We don't like being in the gray area. People want to be with a party because they want to lean on people. They don't want independent ideas or independent thought. And I think that is because a lot of Americans aren't that bright. They aren't that insightful, and they're pretty fucking ignorant. Oh, I did vote yes on Prop 50, but I am also curious about what that is going to do to the rest of the states. Are other states going to try redistricting? Now, what is this? Like, there's always going to be a fallout. What will the fallout be? Fox News said that Hamburger Helper was trending again. I can't believe they said that. Hamburger Helper is trending because it's cheap as fuck and people have lost their food stamps and their SNAP benefits. Okay. Like, you can't even lie anymore. It's that bad. Oh, I want to give a shout out to Baldoni in New York. The way that he handled Cuomo today, I thought was fucking brilliant. He directly said to him that victims of sexual harassment against him were in the room ready to talk. And I think it left Cuomo completely befuddled. He did not know how to handle it. I don't know this guy, but man, I mean, he's doing a good job. He's wanting to rise quickly in politics. Cattle ranchers are starting to hate Trump, and I know a lot of them were MAGA, but because he's outsourcing beef, now they're pissed. I don't really know what's going to happen with that. Again, those are like a lot of MAGA people that Trump is now losing. The support's leaving because of these decisions, because he's favoring other countries over American people. Oh, there's an author, Wolf, who publishes about, Epstein, Trump, Melania. Now I think Melania is actually trying to sue him because of her ties to Epstein, and he's calling that out. So we will see how that plays out. But yeah, Michael Wolf, follow him. Interesting. Okay, back to kind of the celebrity stuff. I was retained in 2 cases today that would blow your fucking minds. I can't tell you. I can't say anything. Okay, I'll say a little bit. I just can't watch movies anymore. I can't listen to Seb's music. And I'm even being recruited for international cases at this point, which is really flattering because I want to figure out who's telling the truth in these cases. I want to figure out the justice, and I want to fight for it. And I'm willing to fly all over the world to do it, especially as a rebuttal witness when I can tear apart a psychologist who is a piece of shit. Oh, I did see something on TikTok today. Some TikToker said that this guy was like starting an account and posting her own children on it, saying that her children were going to be his children. And then he was putting X's over their faces. That was really fucking trippy. I immediately told her to contact the cyber division of the FBI because that's a direct threat. I like to say a lot that when you're on social media, you're going to get a lot of cold threats. You're going to get a lot of hate. People are going to say a lot of shit to you. If you can handle it, and if you have the support and the security, make those cold threats hot. Encourage the people sending the hatred to give you a little more information about who they are. And if you can do that, you may actually find that they're bullshit and you don't have to worry about it. Or you may actually find that they're dangerous. And then you have something to work with and you can do something about it. I was reading more about Red Pill today and just this misogynistic dark online community. And I found it very interesting. I found it interesting that it really does start with insecure young men who can't get girls and they can't date. And they go online and they kind of look for dating tips. And in those dating tips, they slowly get sucked into these groups of individuals who are saying, well, women only date like the top 20%, which is not true. I mean, look at like a Selena Gomez, but it's not true. So they're manipulating these people. And then they're saying, well, if women are only going to date the top 20%, you're never going to get one. So then the only way you're going to get one is by controlling one. And then we're going to belittle the women so that you feel so detached from the humanity of it that then you go and harm women. And that breeds misogyny. It breeds the hatred of women. That's Red Pill. There are so many other groups like that online, but it's something that if you have a young man, if you have a young boy, pay attention to. Oh, yeah. And Candace Owens definitely has a gag order from the state of Utah. She's banned from Australia. And yes, she is being sued by the president of France. So, once again, maybe you guys could stop following her and stop listening to her because she's a dangerous person because she speaks in all propaganda and it's bullshit. They literally think she's going to ruin the jury pool when Tyler Robinson goes to trial for the murder of Charlie Kirk because Candace is talking about this so much. That is utterly ridiculous. So, how were you manipulated today? I basically think we had kind of like an authoritative whiplash. Like everybody would say something was true, and then other people would say it was not true, and then they would show their own evidence. He's not tearing down the east wing of the White House, but then we show the video footage because the Department of Treasury is next door and they're just recording it on their telephones, even though he told them they're not allowed to. But as somebody who did work in the government, we don't there's a lot of downtime and we don't listen to directives, especially from people. Tell every Veterans Affairs hospital in the country to change out his photo because he doesn't like it and then place it certain inches away from certain areas. And instead of taking care of veterans, they're the administration is moving his photo around the hospitals. So definitely manipulated today and pretty obviously manipulated today. I'm grateful for that it was pretty obvious. To conclude with the Blake Lively and the Baldoni, everybody's like freaking out over these signal texts and she's claiming that she can't get the discovery because Signal auto deletes. I did a poll on my Instagram and thousands of people said they don't use Signal. And the people that do use Signal is because they don't want to be seen. They don't want anyone to find out what they're writing. But when you do download Signal, it is not an automatic auto delete. It can just be a texting app that is encrypted and it doesn't go to the cloud. If you want to auto delete messages, if you want them to disappear and no one can find them, you have to do that. You have to turn that application on or that thing in the application on. So Justin Baldoni, Jamie Heath, Steve Surowitz, Brian Friedman, they knew they were going to be sued. It's even in the audio tape of Surowitz. They saw it coming. They switched over to using Signal and they started disappearing their messages. Now, anyone who says that that is not fishy is just not in reality or is just so hyper focused on defending Baldoni. I get it. It's been like 10 or 11 months. People probably think they have actual parasocial bonding, individual relationships with this guy who has not really spoken or he hasn't been seen like all year. He hasn't been seen because his legal team told him to go away because every time he talks, he sounds like a narcissist who's lying. I mean, he was actually told to go to Hawaii and not come back for several months. That was strategy. So, once again, I leave you guys with saying don't outsource all of your information to whoever gives it to you first and fast. Find people you trust because the world is full of liars and constant manipulation and propaganda. Be smart, be calm, be resourceful, and let's make it to Friday. That's just tomorrow. We can do it, guys. I don't know if I'll be on tomorrow because I have to go to this little gala thing, but I might. We'll see. I will keep up to date with the news. I will keep up to date with celebrity gossip. I will keep up to date with all of these trials, things happening around the world, and I will try to give it to you clear, sensical, no bullshit. I'm not getting paid and no propaganda. I'll catch you later.